Selling an HFTP membership to your general manager is today's topic. What would motivate a GM to include association dues, programs, and staff time when drafting budgets or when making a request? Here are a GM's perspective with today's speaker, Sarah Ford. Sarah is the general manager and COO at the Army and Navy Club in Washington, D.C. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Finance from Rutgers University, an accounting certificate from Delaware Valley University, and a CHAE designation from HFTP. Sarah has over 10 years' experience in private clubs holding positions with progressive responsibilities, including controller, director of finance, interim general manager, and currently General Manager, Chief Operating Officer. Sarah is a large supporter of continuing education and professional development, having memberships in both HFTP and CMAA since 2011 and 2016, respectively. As a member of HFTP, Sarah has served on the annual convention Education Advisory Council for several years, including 2021. Sarah was recently nominated for a board position in the National Capital Chapter of CMAA. We are pleased to have Sarah join us today to provide insights on a general manager's perception of association dues and member involvement. I now welcome Sarah to begin the discussion.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Victoria. My apologies for that very long introduction. I will cut that down before we do this again. I appreciate you having me here today. I was very excited to be asked to speak about this topic because as a member of HFTP for over 11 years, I believe, when I first started in the industry, I did not have hospitality as a background. So hospitality accounting was completely new to me. And if it weren't for HFTP, it would have probably taken me several years to catch up to speed on all the nuances of private clubs and hospitality accounting in general for nonprofits. So I am a very big supporter of HFTP's professional organization. And I think every general manager should be as supportive of his or her employees to belong to HFTP for the educations, the networking, and I feel it's critical. So, I mean, I can start right into some of the ways that I feel that could be beneficial for you to use. But if anyone has any specific questions, we can kind of tailor the conversation to that direction, or I can jump right in. So does anyone have questions, comments, any specific problems they're having with? No, I don't see anything in the chat.
I guess I'm going to kind of jump in here and say that people can unmute their mics if they want to join in that way, or to go ahead and put it in the chat. So.
Well, I can start something and ask because I guess a lot of clubs are struggling in some ways. So it's really just, how are you approaching? It's like with anything else, getting a membership, the value of it. Again, you benefited, so let's maybe just kick it that way.
Absolutely. And I think where it would start, and especially if it's a tight budget that you have at your club, is the cost. And I don't want to get in trouble and say what the cost is, but the dues for a professional organization for HFTP are very inexpensive. It could be broken down to a monthly amount or even a dollar amount. And if you put a dollar amount on it per day, it is about half of what you would pay for a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So we could start there. So even if the budget's tight, this dollar amount and what you receive from the organization, it's in my mind, and I could certainly say that other clubs probably do this as well, but it's completely justifiable. So if we want to compare what we would spend in an average dues, let's just say the minimum if you fail to pay your taxes on time with the IRS, what they would charge you in a minimum fee is more expensive than what HFTP dues are. So from an educational standpoint, that might be one thing you learn. You've already saved your club dues in an IRS fee and penalty. So from a money standpoint, I kind of feel that's if they wanted to talk dollars, or if it was a struggle for someone to get it in the budget, the dollar amount should be negligible, especially for a general manager who receives probably the same or equal, most likely more money for education for his or herself. That educations and continue educations and the networking for your controllers and your finance and technology professionals are equally important as whatever the general manager is doing for professional organizations and networking. So I also would say that it shouldn't start as a question, because the question then leaves the topic open for a potential no answer. If it were me, and this is how I approached it when I was new into the industry, I found out about HFTP by finding a certificate from the prior controller, because I did not have the benefit of working alongside of that person. They left, and then I took up later, and I found this certificate. Said HFTP. I looked it up, and then I went to the general manager and I said, I'm joining this professional organization. It's going to benefit me and it's going to benefit the club. And I feel for industry professionals, it's a positive reflection on you as an individual to say you want to more actively engage yourself and your time with the organization that is aligned specifically with your club. It shows, that you're committed to your career. It shows that you're committed to your club. If my employees that are in finance all belong to HFTP, but if they didn't, and one of them came and said to me, I'm joining this organization, here's what it cost, that would thrill me to no end to see that they were taking initiative on their own to help themselves, which ultimately helps the club. So I like, and I think anyone would like to see their staff actively engaged in trying to better themselves through educations and organizations. But I think it's certainly going to benefit if you tell and not ask. It's harder to say no when you tell someone you're doing something, especially an adult to an adult. Those conversations are weird, but yeah. So I think that's another place that I would start. Has anyone had any difficulties with getting this dollar amount in the budget, or? Another road you could go down that I think is a great benefit for a conversation starter about this is perhaps asking the general manager what have they learned and where did they learn about the new the FASB accounting standards. And if they have no idea what FASB stands for, and they don't know what accounting standards were updated in 2017 or 2018, well, there you go. If you're not teaching me that here, I have to learn that someplace. This is part of my job. Where am I going to go to learn that? You're telling me as the club's general manager, you do not offer these educations from HR with inside our club. I have to have them to do my job properly. Where am I going to get those? Well, that answer is HFTP. They also may or may not understand that it's not just having an auditor. Yes, it's nice to have an auditor, and you can do that, and you pay your auditor, nice money to come in and audit the financials, because either that's the way your organization is set up or you have to legally, but your auditor is not there running your day-to-day operations. And then so take whatever is in the budget line and say, look, here's what we pay our auditors. They only come in once a year. I'm asking for this little tiny dollar amount so I can have educations and networking all year long. As far as a comparison, every club is audited, maybe not every year, or maybe you just have a review, but those things cost money. And what you would be asking for these membership benefits that you get with HFTP is such a small dollar amount compared to what your annual audit fees are that you're paying, professional services. So I think that's another great place to start in the budget if the money is the issue. I'll pause for some comments. Maybe anyone have any questions? No. Well, I will do. I made a couple little notes about, and I go back to the educations a lot, but for HFTP, because that really was the most beneficial to me starting into the industry. But the networking opportunities and the trade fairs that HFTP offers are also extremely beneficial and will help the club in a lot larger way, even outside of your accounting office. For instance, I have found some technologies at High Tech on the show floor that I brought back that had absolutely nothing to do with my job, but I thought this would be very nice for the club to have. Hey, general manager, look what I saw, or look what I found. Maybe we think about doing this or using this piece of technology, or perhaps this vendor to help us out with an area we've been struggling in. And so that aspect of it is it's great for the whole club, even departments outside of yours. So if you kind of take a zoom back of the areas at your club that could be potentially helped by you being a member of HFTP and participating in these great events, is it's spectacular and beneficial to all of your directors potentially, and your membership as a whole. So I will share my screen with you. When I was looking around at information, I found this terrific member benefits PDF on HFTP's website, and I really enjoyed it. So I don't know if any of you have seen this or not, but I'm going to do a screen share and pop over that screen so you can see this, because it really does exemplify all the things this very small dollar amount of dues annually buy you as a member. So, and it's pretty and colorful. It's got spectacular pictures. And it is on the website and it can be downloaded. So if you feel like this would be helpful in selling your all the benefits of HFTP to your general manager, I like this one, the HFTP network. Excuse me, I'm gonna excuse me. Thousands of members worldwide. That is a large benefit. If you ever find a job in another area, you're not going to have to make a whole new network of people if you transition jobs, or if you're a multi-property club and have to transfer to another state or another region. The chances of there being an HFTP group and members in that area are very, very high. So you won't have to necessarily start from scratch learning new state rules and regulations or new area things. You attend an HFTP meeting in that area, meet some of those other professionals, and you can get caught up to speed very quickly. Oh, that was it. I mentioned the High Tech. It says High Tech here too on this, but that's one of my favorite events of the year. I am very big into utilizing technology to make our life easier, and there's always something there that is beneficial to make your job. Hopefully, you can work smarter, not harder. And then again, the educations, that's my favorite part. I am very big on education and continuing education and the benefits of continuing education for your employees, especially these days when you are perhaps in an employee crunch or short-staffed, to show that you're investing in your staff, for your manager to show that they're investing in you. The benefits of that are just endless. Not only does your employee now feel appreciated and respected, and that they're having your support, it reduces turnover. It's proven that investing in your employees' education and your professional development reduces employee turnover to the cost of somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000, depending on what the position is that you're replacing. So with this little investment of HFTP dues could potentially save you $7,000 to $10,000 in employee turnover costs, by keeping and educating your staff as they are. And again, you're not getting that education and those opportunities to network from inside the club. Your HR, unless if you're probably actually HR yourself, but if you're not, I'm almost certain your HR is not providing any industry specific or job specific training for you, and you can go and get all of that right here with HFTP.
So Sarah, I have a question. Here at HFTP, we do have people who are interested in joining from clubs, and they want help, of course, approaching the GM. So, breaking it down on a very basic level, as a GM who is so busy and is planning so much, what kind of approach would you want from your employees, like to schedule a meeting, to send you an email? HFTP does offer on our website under the membership a justification letter that kind of goes over, why it is important. But I think that some of our employees are nervous, like, well, am I going to get rejected? How do you suggest them approaching the GM on how to pay for the dues?
I think that's individual, their level of comfort with, do they like a face-to-face? Would they rather in an email? And the approachability of the general manager in particular. I don't think any of my employees would feel uncomfortable coming right to me, catching me in the hallway or stopping by my office. Hey, do you have a minute? But some general managers might not be that approachable, and an email would be a great way to do that. Either we can set up a meeting, but I would definitely start with the not ask approach. Hi, I need some educations. Here's what I have in mind. Here's what it costs. And this is what I'm going to do. And if it comes back, no, that you can't do that. No, we don't have the money. Honestly, you might want to reevaluate your standing and your place with that particular club. Maybe it's not the best club for you. If they're not willing to invest in you after you've shown this initiative, after you've shown, a commitment to them by wanting to do this, nobody wants to go out and learn about accounting for their own personal benefit and gain. It's to help the club. It's to help the job. It's to better themselves. I'm not doing it because I'm taking this home and I do accounting for clubs for fun. It's for a benefit of the club. And so I think if the level of comfort is there to have a quick conversation, I would definitely start with that. But if an email is, or maybe your general manager is not on site, which happens often too, maybe they're not on site as often, to just say, I found this organization, I need to catch up to speed with some of the things that are going on in the industry for club finance, for club technology, and here's how I'm going to do that. And here's what it's going to cost. And I think when they see that dollar amount and how low it actually is, like I said, less than a Starbucks cup of coffee a day, that there's not going to be much much pushback on that. You've done all the legwork. You've looked up, how to do it, the roadmap. Just they basically don't have to do anything except for say yes. And when my staff make my job that easy, here's what we're going to do, and they have the plan all laid out. I can't argue with that plan. It's a brilliant plan. Thanks for doing all that work, of course.
So we do have Brian has put a question in the chat, and he's from your neck of the woods. So Brian, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for doing this. As a new manager at a private club, CMMA and HFTP, that sounds like a good combination. Is there any other piece to the pie for newbies?
There is National Club Association. Nice to meet you, Brian. I look forward to seeing you in person soon. But I would say for right now that HFTP is probably where you want to start, because if you're from outside the industry, one of the most difficult for a GM, maybe outside of finance, finance and private clubs, is catching up to speed with nonprofit accounting. So, and the nuances with that. So yes, I think those two are a great place to start. I don't think that you'd have to go anywhere outside of that to get a full range of educations and networking opportunities. Not saying dollar amounts or, what you should and shouldn't do, but CMAA is significantly more expensive for dues. But as a club manager yourself, that is something that you should invest in yourself in for being a club manager. And if you have an accounting department, you should certainly make sure that they're also signed up with HFTP. I think it's critical for that role.
So I would like to share the resource on the website for the justification letter, to be able to share it, whether you're watching this for yourself or if you are watching, or participating in this webinar or, Hangout for to be able to help your chapter. Can everybody see my screen of the HFTP website? So right along the top here, I have chosen membership. And if we scroll on down to the bottom here, it's the HFTP member justification letter. It downloads directly to your computer. And it just helps you, go through and talk about what HFTP is and justifies to the manager, the hiring, the boss, the HR who might make decisions about professional development. Also, these are some good things. Of course, you can always personalize it to, fit your situation a little bit better. And if you ever need any help with that, we are here at HFTP to help. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. And Paul, I see that you also have something that you had in the chat. Would you like to share it?
Yeah, I did actually. I shot it off before I finished really typing it. Sorry, but because I do have to leave shortly. But I did. I thank you for some of the things. They're obvious, but I like to be reminded sometimes. I'm trying to sell these to clubs. And so it's really where I'm looking at it as a chapter leader. And the dues per day thing, that's an interesting way to look at it, $1 a day kind of thing. And then, of course, pointing out, understanding the education and the financial standards, that's a big deal. And yeah, they don't know these, FSAB, then that's a big issue. And just, looking at, of course, the overall education and getting the cost of that compared to what you pay out to your yearly auditor, so to speak. That was nice little tidbits. Yeah. And then just generally career networking. It's so obvious, but when I hear it again, it's like, yeah, if you have a meeting and if you do have that network of people, then it's a good thing, you know, and you can sort of keep track and bounce things off of each other. So it does make a difference. So anyway, I do have to run, but I did want to thank you for those particular tips. Again, I know them, but it's good to hear them again and remind me, because others need to hear that as well. So that's very good. And I'm going to drop off. So thank you very much, and good to see everybody, or who I can't see.
Good, good to see you. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
I do enjoy the roundtable educations. Those are my favorite. Anytime we have one in a local chapter, or when they're done at annual convention, you get hours and hours of what you would sit in a class of education in just a quick question to a room full of people. I mean, it is so beneficial. It's like a speed round of education. You just spit out a question and then someone's got an answer for it. And you don't have to listen, to an hour worth on the topic. You could just get right to the point, ask a question and get an answer and move on. And that's part of the education and the networking component. And then not only have you met those people that maybe had the question answer to your specific question, now you can call them up in the future. You swap phone numbers, call them at their club. Hey, I remember you answered this one time. I've got another question about this topic. Can you help me? And then your network grows from there. And you basically know someone who has an answer for any given situation that has potentially ever happened in finance at a club before, which is fantastic.
So I would like to kind of jump in here and find out. I know, Sarah, you have mentioned some really great benefits of HFTP and like the FASB education. But, and of course, I would like for us to have a little bit of interaction here on what you believe your top benefit of HFTP membership is, especially for the club industry. HFTP will be having a booth at CMAA, and a lot of the CMAA general managers maybe rose through the ranks, might even be members of HFTP as well. But, we are putting together right now are trying to posture our promotion for that. And so I would love to include your input on what you believe is the top benefit. And Sarah, I will let you go first.
For myself in my role now as general manager, the top benefit for me is definitely the networking. If every employee that works for me, I base my success on their success. So if they want to grow, they want a bigger club, maybe they want to eventually learn and then move outside of this club, or perhaps take another club, a larger club, because they're growing and learning. That's great. But I don't want to be without that person. So I now have a network of all these great industry leaders in HFTP who I can potentially call and, are you looking for a larger opportunity? Would you like to come here? So having those connections and having that network grow from country to country, or side of the country, each side of the country, is just, that's fantastic for me as a general manager. But I would also insist that any employee in that role that is CFO, director of finance, that they're a active member of HFTP. I can't go to all the CMAA educations and learn about operations and things changing, and all the finance and technology changes educations too. So I have to pick and choose which ones I feel most benefit my time and my position. So I want to make sure that whoever's in my role in HFTP, in the office of director of finance, or whatever you may call it at your club, is an active member. So for me, I think definitely top two, networking and educations, critical, not even an option for me. I think it's critical for the club in those two.
Would any of our other tenured or new members like to jump in there and talk about what their top benefit in joining HFTP is, and how its role in your club management?
I'll go. This is Jill from Medalist. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, I'm homesick with COVID.
Oh, we're so sorry
I'm
to hear that.
sorry.
But I'll live, knock on wood. So like Sarah, I came from outside the industry as well. So luckily my boss was a big CMA supporter. So of course, first thing he did was like sign me up for HFTP. And I actually can't imagine surviving the first couple of years without HFTP. So I loved it. I loved the networking. I loved the friendship, going to meetings, needing a procedure and not having to write it so I could go home on time to be with my family. I mean, there's can't say enough about it. And then of course, through the years, learning the leadership and all that stuff is definitely, so I can't imagine. I'm ready to get the tattoo.
Yeah.
Question is, where do I put it? No.
Oh.
Oh, good. I'm glad to see Victoria laugh.
Thanks, Jill. Anybody else want to jump in there with their top benefit of membership with an HFTP? I think we definitely have two for the networking, but also not just the networking, but the way the networking helps with some very tangible resources for doing your job and helping enhance your position.
I think one thing too that maybe might not be specifically mentioned as a benefit of HFTP, but it certainly is leadership, helping in leadership growth. When I first started at the club and I went to the first meetings, I didn't really know anybody, and it was very intimidating for these level of professionals who have been in the organization. So I wouldn't really speak up at board meetings. I wouldn't, offer my opinion in certain situations. And over the time, after attending these HFTP meetings and meeting these other seasoned CFOs who attended board meetings and definitely had no problem offering opinions of education to educate their boards. And I saw other people doing this. It helped me with my level of leadership and my confidence in my role. So it's maybe someone wouldn't normally say that, like that leadership, but I think you learn that as you go. So it's definitely another great benefit of HFTP that I found.
Sarah and Victoria, this is Mark. I was just going to jump in if I could and just echo just exactly what you were saying. I can still remember getting up enough nerve to join my first council or put it out there. And it was just like, I can't believe some of these people that are sitting around the table, that are actually listening to me. I try not to talk a lot, but just, absorbed everything. And just all the councils, kind of made you feel comfortable and get your leadership legs under you, and so that you feel comfortable taking on more responsibilities. And because I'm so far, I've never been able to be an active part of a chapter, which I've really missed. So all mine was high-tech activities and annual conference, but still, and with Zoom now, it doesn't matter where you are, it can be part of that council, but it just gave so many opportunities, leadership and growth and all that along with the network. I think is a great benefit of HFTP.
I agree, Mark. That is very well said. And one thing, and it might be a stereotype, but it's certainly coming from an area of truth, me specifically, so I won't put words in anyone else's mouth, but in general, technology professionals and accounting professionals aren't by nature more outgoing or perhaps social as someone who would go into hospitality school to be a general manager. So having those interactions one-on-one with other people who are similar and learning those roles and growing, like you said, you listen, but then you contribute, and getting more comfortable in that, I think is a benefit to anyone in technology or accounting fields.
Definitely. And let me put in a shameless plug for our leadership excellency that is coming up. Got a blog coming out probably in the next couple of days on that. Just tell everybody about it and participating in it. And again, HFTP is in the, excuse me, excuse me, in the forefront. And I'm so really looking forward to that leadership, the seminars that are going to be part of that.
I'd actually like to say just a couple of things about our new leadership program. Last year, as a result of our strategic planning, we had a few strategic task force developed, and we have Art Berger on the session with us today, and he is going to be one of our facilitators for the 2022 Excellence in Leadership Series. Welcome, Art.
Good morning, Victoria. Thank you. I knew I was going to get called sooner or later. So let me back up a second before I talk about the leadership excellence. And Mark, thank you for bringing that up, because it is a really exciting program that the leadership in Austin have put together, as well as many individuals that are in leadership throughout HFTP. But going back to Sarah, really great presentation. Nice job, in highlighting, a lot of the, things I think those of us that have been members for a long time take for granted. And we've been able to convince, our leadership or our owners, to be able to, endorse and support, us being, involved in HFTP. I would add, definitely leadership. I was glad that you brought that one up, Sarah, because, leadership definitely is a huge value that I've seen a lot of people bloom, over the years, from, their exposure and experience. But the other part of leadership that I think has been great, watching people is that, it's one thing to be a leader in a paid organization, but it's another thing to be a leader in a volunteer organization. And when you're dealing with a bunch of volunteers as well, that's not the easiest thing, to do. And I think that, I have seen a lot of people really improve their leadership skills at their businesses, from being, involved in HFTP. The other component on the leadership side that I've been amazed with watching over the years is people's speaking abilities, in front of groups, dramatically improves, the more that they're involved with it. And a lot of people, you will say, out front that, I'm not a good speaker, but that speaking, experience of, being involved with your local chapter definitely makes you a better employee, because there's plenty of times wherever you're working, where you need to be speaking, whether it's, with leadership at your club, or associates, or with your owners, or members, for that matter. Networking, quite obviously, is a huge one. I think that one of the things that I have seen also is on the technology side, not only do we get the opportunity to be aware of what's happening as far as new technology that's coming, but what a great resource HFTP provides clubs as well as hotels, is being able to talk to other clubs and know that you've got a connection where you can ask somebody, hey, have you implemented this program or this software? So that networking element on the on the technology side, I think, is huge. Another one that I wasn't brought up is talent recruitment, and I know that we all do get some connections from from other clubs and other hotels. On are we interested, or do we know of somebody? But over the years, I know that a lot of people have been able to move hourly positions, hearing that somebody's got someone at a small club and they just can't promote them any further, and that individual gets an opportunity to be able to find someplace to be able to grow into a larger club or a larger hotel. The last thing that I would add, on the value on trying to sell this to your general manager, over the years, I have actually convinced probably about 6 different owners of hotels and clubs to become members. And once they hear about HFTP and hear what the value of it, it amazes me sometimes as to how interested an owner becomes on wanting to be connected to it. And they don't attend chapter meetings, and I've seen a couple of them attend high tech. I've seen a couple of them attend annual convention. But that's a surprising one that sometimes you don't really necessarily realize is that your owner may have some interest in it. So those were some of my ads, and again, Sarah, not taking away from your presentation, it was outstanding, really, really good quality stuff. And frankly, this is one that probably needs to be done every year to help a lot of our members that know of other people and trying to talk people to get into it. So getting back to the Leadership Excellence Series, this is really a dynamic opportunity that HFTP is offering to members only, helping them to have another credential, of something that shows that they've gone through this program, and the program is going to have a very broad listing of different sessions throughout the next year. And the ultimate goal is to trying to help our members to either improve their position as a leader in their club or hotel IT department that they're working in, or help that individual that maybe is a number 2 or a number 3 in being able to improve their leadership presence to be able to grow within their organization as well. So as Mark said, when you see the opportunity to get involved with, it's a free program. Definitely encourage you to give it a shot. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. Also, today, check your email because information on the overview session and for the Leadership Excellence Program will be going out to all members. So thank you for bringing that up as leadership, Sarah, and I turn it back over to you.
I think that leadership is going to be spectacular. I wish I had the chance to sign up and attend. It's going to be great because nobody really works in a bubble, right? Even if you're in a county, you're going to have to report to someone, you're going to have to give someone reports, you're going to have to give direction to your staff or maybe accept direction from your boss. Everyone has to work with someone, and to learn those leadership skills and improve your interpersonal skills is such a tremendous opportunity. And I'm very excited HFTP is doing that. And thank you, Art, and everyone who had a hand in putting all this together. I mean, it's tremendous. I'm very excited about that for HFTP and for all the attendees.
So we are, we're coming close to the end of our presentation. So does anybody have any final questions or comments?
Anyone want me to call their GM and strong arm him into an HFTP membership? I'll do it.
All right, well, we are coming to 10 minutes before the hour, which is the sweet spot we have found for the Hangouts. And so thank you, Sarah, for participating today and letting us know from a GM perspective and a new GM perspective what it's like to be a member of professional organizations that help. Of course, also thank you for your involvement with CMAA. We like to partner with other associations and organizations that promote the same values that we do. We also will be having this afternoon a cybersecurity session with NCA. So if you are in clubs and want to take use of that, that is going to be an important session today at 2 p.m. Central Time. And then also we have that new cybersecurity resource for our club. So if you have not checked that out, you may want to check that out. Any final comments, Sarah?
No, thank you everyone for being here today. It was a pleasure. I love talking about HFTP and meeting new members, and hopefully we can all meet in person one day again soon.
Yes, we all hope to see you. Also, registration is open for Club Summit. So if you are interested in any of the events, of course, our conferences and events pages on hftp.org. If you ever need any other additional resources or benefits information, please reach out to Barb or me, and we are happy to provide that to you. Also, next week, we are doing a member orientation and update session. So that is on our virtual education page, which I will be hosting a brand new presentation for 2022, and we look forward to seeing you and many of our board members as well. So this closes out today's Hangout, and we look forward to working with you soon. Bye, everybody.